So one philosophy that's become quite popular over the last 5 to 6 years, particularly on the internet, is a really natural kind of philosophy that basically says if it's okay in nature, then it's okay for us to behave like nature. So these people look toward nature for truth, and they look toward nature to figure out how you should behave as human. Now, this is based on the false dichotomy that because humans are animals, and we most certainly are because we come out of nature, and I'm not even entirely sure that you would categorize us as animals because we have access to consciousness and self awareness, which is a dimension that you don't really see in nature itself. There's some communication, some sensory of pain, and so forth, but being able to contemplate one's existence is not really a skill that anything in nature has. So you cannot necessarily equate the two. The biggest problem with this is that people look toward nature to justify or to explain away or to explain particular behaviors. So, for example, in nature, there are animals that do horrific things like kill other animals and rip them apart for their sustenance. Now, this is this is pretty bad, and as humans, we don't engage in this type of stuff. And so, anybody who looks toward nature for their philosophy for how they should live their life is making a huge error here. Nature doesn't have the capacity to think deeply about its existence. Only humans have that capacity. You can make some kind of argument that on the larger scale of things, everything is constructed out of the same substance, atoms and, so forth and so on. So, there's no difference between us and any other creature you might see in nature. Like, fine, sure, whatever. In nature does all kinds of horrible things in nature. We know that, there's all this suffering and stuff like that, but we also see compassion in nature. We see animals, even of different species, working together for different means, collaboratively surviving together and stuff like that. Those are things that we can look at to at least see that these things are instilled in nature. But the point is, in nature, there is ruthlessness and carnage and destruction, but also there's balance and collaboration and things like that. Another mistake that these people make, these primitivists or these natural philosophyists, is they only look at one side of the spectrum in nature. So because they see something in nature of some way, they just hyper focus on that, and then they don't focus on the other positive things you see in nature. So that's part of the problem. Now I'm dissuading people away from basing their whole stance and perception of reality based upon natural phenomena, but also if you were really honest and you weren't a liar, if you weren't dishonest and suffering from severe cognitive dissonance, you would see that there's also this positive aspect in nature. And when animals collaborate and work together, they tend to survive better and all of that. So, you're not being honest about natural philosophy, but the point of the video is to dissuade you from even looking at that, because it's stupid. It's stupid as a human being to base your perception of reality on what nature does. As humans, we can reflect on our behaviors, we can change our minds, we can absorb new information, which will modify our thoughts and our behaviors. Humans have a unique skill set, a unique capacity to reflect on oneself and then improve oneself. Humans are insanely adaptable. We're able to use our adaptability in the way that we can reflect upon what we're doing and then improve ourselves. It's just human nature. It's just nature, some people are jerks, some people hurt people, no big deal. It's nature, there's all the violence in nature. No, you have the ability to think. You have the ability to be self-aware. You have the ability to change who you are. And so we do not base what society should be or how we should perceive the world based upon what happens in nature, okay? We can think deeply, and that has significant value. So when people are saying, biologically, this is how our bodies function, or biologically, these things are happening in nature, and, equating that to what it is to be a human being, you're making an egregious philosophical error. Because we're able to think about the things that we do see things that are wrong or flawed, and then change that. And then over time, society evolves in the sense that we begin to value certain things. We can reflect upon these things and develop moral axioms and moral defenses and arguments to reason for a better society, or a better way for, engaging with other people, a better way for, us deciding how we should think about things or how we should behave and so forth. I don't want to hear this bullshit about nature and look at nature, look at the things in nature, look how the nature things are. Like, no, we can think, and because we can think, it is our responsibility to think, and then to improve ourselves and do things better, more justly, more truthfully, and more fair. Okay? It's that simple. All these natural philosophy people, all these primitive philosophy people, if you will, all they do is basically justify their laziness, justify their unwillingness to be responsible for their behaviors, their unwillingness to accept that there are things that are moral and things that are immoral, which means when you do something, if it has a negative impact or it has a consequential impact that's unfavorable to you or other people, then it's probably not a good idea. It's probably not a good idea. Probably not. But so that's what morality comes out of, is the cause and effect. This is a scientific thing. It's the cause and effect of one's behavior, the cause and effect of one's thoughts, okay? It's not all, it's all good, bro. Oh, just smoke another doobie. Ooh, yeah.